I have mini rant. This is a good space for it because, so few people will see it, and that's okay. In this case, that's very much okay. If my computer ever stops running, I will stay more sane. But it's not gonna happen. Anyway, so as a partly still closeted person living in the Midwest with a background in homophobic family members and people around me growing up, the thought of a scenario where two straight people, as a joke in a group of friends, decide to test to see if they're straight, like kissing or whatever, doesn't really matter, is not just insensitive on like a basic level, not even like I'm sensitive to this level, like just basic human kindness level. It's also, in my opinion, just straight up homophobic. Downplays and creates a more unsafe environment for the people who genuinely cannot reveal their identity in their living space, who either aren't safe or aren't comfortable being out, or don't know where they stand and are processing that or discover that through a scenario such as that one. There's zero excuse. And when there is a situation where I, as a queer person, hear a story from a straight person who frames it as, this was a situation where I did this with my other straight friend just to see if we were straight, and it was for laughs because we were all funny people with funny people, and we were just having a great time, and this was the biggest laugh we had all night, and it was great. I hear that, and I just hear a vocalization of all of the lack of perspective. And I think about my own experience getting to where I am now, having my first realization that I found women attractive, versus how many times before that I could have figured it out if I had not been in a heteronormative environment, a homophobic environment. I think about how much easier it would be for so many people in the queer community to both be out and be safe being out if those things didn't happen. And how do you say to someone who doesn't have a clue how hurtful it is? This is hurtful because that, I mean, yeah, sure, you can say that. You can tell somebody. And if they start a sentence by saying, I know this may be kind of weird, it may be crossing, like towing a line, not crossing a line, towing a line, maybe a little problematic. Like, yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, maybe if you have to say that to a group of people, some of whom are not straight, that's the thing, some of whom who are not straight, you have to say to them, I know this may be towing a line, but nothing. You're right. It towed a line. It crossed a line. There's nothing wrong with experiencing sexuality, but there's so much wrong with making it a joke for the sake of what? There's no way that in a scenario where two straight people decide to experience anything of a sexual nature with each other, there's no way that suddenly just a switch gets flipped. You're not just gonna suddenly figure it out. So if you play it for jokes, as if you would suddenly figure it out, I just kind of feel like in a scenario like that, saying to that person, this is why it's not funny, would either fall on deaf ears or would take a whole lot of advocating, of queer people advocating for themselves, which is what we're supposed to try to have to avoid. Like, I can't believe now we're still having to fight for ourselves, but we are. In normalizing queer experiences, normalizing being in a safe queer environment. And then some young 20-something straight white boy decides he can kiss another 20-something straight white boy as a joke to figure out if he's gay or straight. You're not funny. You make a lot of the rest of us feel like our experiences are less serious. That's it. When I said tiny rant, little rant, whatever I said, I meant I got a lot of feelings. I don't know how to say them to that person. So I'll put them here. Maybe someday I'll be able to say them to that person.